Okay, now we get to a very interesting part of this unit zero point 0.4, and it's about interpreting a graph. This is, I say, a very interesting but also important aspect of this unit because this is something I would like to emphasize a lot. I want you to understand clearly. So, whenever we want to interpret a graph, I thought about four things that you might take into account. The first one is whenever you see the coordinate plane, it's you focus on what's on the vertical and what's on the horizontal axis. We know it's x and y, but sometimes they are representing quantities that are interacting or they have a relation with each other. So in this case, we have on the y-axis the number of songs on a device, let's say your phone, and the horizontal axis is showing time. It might be interpreted in different units, seconds, minutes, days, years, whatever. Let's say in this case, let's say that we're talking about hours, for example, or days if you like. It's irrelevant at this point. Now, a second thing that I want you to think about is when you take a look at the graph itself, which is in green at this point, is something that I call transitions, or and then is going to be combined with stages or parts eventually. But transitions are those points where the graph is going to change its behavior. All right. So transitions like what? We have the beginning and there is an end in here, but it seems like it's just going to continue to keep going on to the right. With time. But also there are important points, and let's use red here. This is a point of transition. This is another point of transition, and this is another point of transition. That's what I refer when I talk about that second part. Now, the third part is those parts in between the transitions. So I can say that there is a first part or moment as well. There's a second moment, there is a third moment, and there is a fourth moment that you will have to interpret. And the fourth part that you should take into account is a very basic one. Either the graph or that portion is increasing, decreasing, or remains the same or constant. And this is one important aspect as well. In this fourth part, I want you to remember that whenever we are reading graphs, we always take a look at them from left to right. So if you look at it from left to right, then let's interpret what is going on. In the first place, portion number one. Let's begin about this initial moment. It seems like your device has a certain number of songs with it. But what you do in this first part of this moment is that the songs are going, it seems like you are downloading a bunch of songs until you reach to a certain number that is higher than the original. Let's talk about numbers. Let's say that you have 500 songs in your device, but then as you downloaded songs, then eventually you have 600 songs, right? Okay, and that's all. You finish your downloading. This is how we are interpreting this. Now, the second part is that you keep your 600 songs for a couple of days or a couple of hours, but then after that moment has finished, right? That moment that again is interpreted in hours or in days. We could have a specified, but at this point it's not a problem. Then what happened? Part 3. There is a moment of transition. Let's say that this moment is where you decided to clean your storage because you said, my device is really slow, so I'm going to delete some songs from the main memory of my phone. And then you start deleting some songs until you reach this point. When you are deleting songs, it takes up 1 or 2 minutes, whatever. So after that, you end up with, look at this, less songs that you had at the beginning of when we started analyzing the situation. And then it seems like you kept it that way. Let's say that You started with 500 songs, then you uploaded some songs, and now you have 600. And then after some time, you decided to delete some songs from your phone. And then when you finish doing that, let's say that now you are just with 250 songs left on your device, and that's how you kept it. The fourth part of it is like it keeps like that. So as time goes by, the number of songs is constant. So that is how you interpret songs. Well, that's how you interpret the graph. Okay, and that's all.